Lily's been acting strange lately, hasn't she?
Yeah, I noticed that too. Maybe she's just looking for attention.
Maybe. But it's kind of annoying, you know?
Lily had always suspected that her husband, Tom, was hiding something for years. Things had seemed fine. They had a nice house, decent jobs, and a steady routine. But Lily had a gut feeling that Tom was up to no good. And it wasn't just because of his late nights at the office or his mysterious business trips that never seemed to add up. It was his relationship with her best friend, Sarah. Sarah was the kind of a friend who was always around, always at their house, always offering to help out. She was sweet, charming, and completely trustworthy. Or so Lily thought. But there were little things that started to bother her. For instance, why did Tom always smile so much whenever Sarah called? Why did Sarah always ask about Tom's day when she knew he was working late? And why did Tom, without fail, forget to mention Sarah when he was telling her about his day? Lily wasn't stupid. Something was definitely going on. One afternoon, Lily was cleaning the living room when she overheard a conversation between Tom and Sarah. They were talking in hushed tones, but she caught a few words. Words like secret, careful, and don't tell her. It was enough. Lily knew her suspicions weren't just in her head. Her husband and best friend were having an affair, and now she had to figure out how to catch them in the act. That's when she came up with the idea. It was bold, it was risky, but it was the only way to get the proof she needed.
I'll pretend to be blind.
And so, Lily set her plan into motion. The next morning, she made sure to act completely normal. She went about her day as usual, but instead of using her glasses, she wore a pair of large dark sunglasses. She moved around the house slowly, bumping into things on purpose. When Tom came downstairs, he gave her a confused look.
Lily, are you okay?
His eyebrows knitting together.
I think I'm having trouble with my vision.
Speaking a little more slowly than usual, giving him just enough time to be suspicious, but not enough to be certain. Tom frowned, but he wasn't concerned enough to take her to the doctor.
Maybe you just need a break. You've been working a lot lately.
You're probably right.
Lily smiled, pretending to fumble as she walked to the kitchen. She made sure to knock over a few things for dramatic effect. She was working with the element of surprise and a lot of blind luck. Over the next few days, Lily continued her charade. She would accidentally trip, knock into walls, and ask Tom to help her do basic things like finding the TV remote or pouring a glass of water. The more helpless she appeared, the more Tom would hover around her, offering assistance, but always with a certain level of frustrations. He couldn't quite decide if she was pretending or genuinely losing her sight. Then came the weekend when Lily knew Sarah would come over. Tom had mentioned they were planning to hang out, which was code for whatever secret activities they had planned. This was her chance. Sarah arrived on Saturday afternoon, just as Lily had planned. She put on her best blind act, walking around the living room, feeling for the furniture, and asking Sarah to do simple things like pass her a magazine or move a chair. Sarah was concerned at first, but then she started acting like it was no big deal, like Lily just having one of those off days. Then came the moment Lily had been waiting for.
I think I'm going to lie down.
Pretending to be exhausted from all the struggling to see, she slowly made her way to the couch and dramatically flopped down. Tom, who had been sitting next to Sarah, looked worried.
I'll be fine. Just a little nap.
Tom gave her an uncertain look, but he didn't seem too concerned. He leaned closer to Sarah and whispered something, and that was when Lily realized that it was time. They were going to make their move.
Lily's been acting strange lately, hasn't she?
Yeah, I noticed that too. Maybe she's just looking for attention.
Maybe. But it's kind of annoying, you know?
Lily's heart was racing. She was pretending to be asleep, but her ears were wide open. Tom and Sarah's conversation grew more and more uncomfortable as they continued to discuss how well Lily had been acting and how she wouldn't even notice if they decided to go out for a bit.
Nah, I think she's just playing it up. She's always been dramatic, Lily.
Lily had heard enough. She sat up suddenly, threw her sunglasses on the floor and stood up, glaring at both of them.
Not blind. And I know what's been going on between you two.
Tom's face went pale, and Sarah looked like she had just swallowed a live fish. It was glorious. For a moment, there was stunned silence. Then Tom, trying to save face, stammered.
I can explain.
Explain? Explain why my husband has been secretly meeting with my best friend behind my back?
Sarah, who was usually quick with a comeback, just stood there, blinking like a confused rabbit.
You two thought you could fool me. I've been pretending to be blind for a week, and you guys just kept walking right into it.
Tom looked like he wanted to sink into the floor.
I'm so sorry, Lily. I didn't mean.
You didn't mean? Lily said, hands on her hips. Oh, I think you did mean it. You've been sneaking around like teenagers. At this point, Sarah started to laugh. She couldn't help herself.
Oh my God, this is too much. You had us both fooled. I didn't even think you were that good at pretending.
Well, you both underestimated me.
I can't believe you went this far.
I had to. If I didn't, you two would have just kept playing me for a fool.
Them stood there in awkward silence for a while. Tom apologized repeatedly, and Sarah just kept saying,
I didn't mean to hurt you, Lily. I'm so sorry.
But Lily, despite the betrayal, couldn't help but laugh.
Well, looks like I'm going to need a new best friend. And maybe a new husband. I'm definitely getting a pair of actual sunglasses next time, though.
And with that, the whole room burst into laughter, the tension finally breaking. Of course, Lily didn't let Tom off the hook so easily, and Sarah had a lot of explaining to do, but at least she got the satisfaction of knowing she'd caught them red-handed, blindfolded or not. After the laughter died down, the awkwardness settled in. Tom kept apologizing, his face as red as a tomato. Sarah was still trying to apologize, but Lily wasn't sure if she would forgive them or not.
I don't even know what to say. I messed up, Lily. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Lily crossed her arms and stared at her best friend.
You were thinking you could get away with it. With both of us apparently.
I didn't want to hurt you, Lily. It just happened.
Really? That's your excuse? It just happened.
There was a long, uncomfortable pause. Tom looked like he was about to speak, but Lily cut him off.
You know what? I've had enough of both of you. I don't need someone who can't keep their promises. And I don't need a best friend who thinks betrayal is an acceptable hobby.
Tom opened his mouth to protest, but Lily held up her hand.
Save it. We'll talk later. When I'm not so blind to the truth.
Sarah shuffled her feet awkwardly.
I messed up, Lily. Please.
Lily gave a small bitter laugh.
Maybe one day I'll forgive you.
With that, she turned on her heel and walked out of the room, leaving Tom and Sarah standing there, both stunned and embarrassed. The next few weeks were tough. Lily spent a lot of time on her own, figuring out what she wanted. She took some time off work, visited her family, and even started taking up a new hobby, baking cookies to make herself feel better. She wasn't ready to kick Tom out of the house just yet, but she made it clear that their marriage needed serious work if it was going to survive. As for Sarah, well, they never quite went back to being the best friends they were. Lily didn't want to throw away a decade of friendship, but it would take time to rebuild trust if that was even possible. Eventually, Lily made the decision to move on from Tom. She couldn't keep pretending things were fine when they weren't. A few months later, she sold the house, packed up her things, and moved to a new place. Tom still tried calling her, sending her texts and showing up at her door with flowers, but Lily had made up her mind. And as for Sarah, well, she moved out of town, trying to find a way to fix her own life after all the mess. Lily, she was doing just fine. She had her own place now, her own space, and a new life ahead of her. She learned the hard way, but at least now she could see clearly.